FYI.
She's there.
Thanks for not.
No. The Coastside County Water District meeting of Tuesday, December 10th. And I need an agenda to go to roll call. Roll call, please.
Okay, Director Coverdale.
Here.
Director Feldman.
Here.
Director Mueller.
Here.
Vice President Reynolds.
Here.
President Michelson.
Here. Okay. All right, so the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Can you lead us? I
pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you. Do we have any public comment on anything not on the agenda? And not looking like it. So
We're just going to swear us in.
well, you're
Swearing us in.
not your president,
I don't want it.
soon to be departed president. Okay. Thankfully, we're not spending $4 to $6 million like the county of San Mateo is spending to recall the sheriff. You guys all walked on and saved the district, what, 30, 40,000? I think it was what the cost.
Yeah. It's 30.
Yeah, so I'd like to welcome the three of you back and I'd be happy to present the oaths. Yeah. Okay. Well,
You got a Bible?
yeah. Oh my God. Okay. This is for the oath of office for member board of directors, Coastside County Water District. So repeat after me. I'll try not to get too far in and I'll let you guys take over your part. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution.
I do solemnly swear and confirm that I will support the Constitution
Of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California.
of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California.
Against all enemies, foreign and
Against-
domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the State of California.
That I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
That I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
upon which I'm going to enter.
on which I'm going to enter.
I now declare you guys sworn in. You know, we've all been honored this way, sworn in multiple times. It really is an honor, especially when you read, the Constitution of not only our country, the Constitution of our state. It's pretty cool. So thank you guys for stepping up and offering this up.
It's kind of an interesting situation this year because not everyone necessarily agrees with how things have gone in terms of the election. And what my comment was, I'm sworn to support the Constitution of the United States of America. And we have an elected official who's been elected duly according to our Constitution. And I think that it's really important to realize that it's important that these words aren't just in passing. It's a serious proclamation. And so
I absolutely agree.
very
And
important.
to be part of that is personally for me, I feel it's a real honor. And I think we would all agree that it is an honor to serve.
It is.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't take it lightly. It's serious.
Cool. Consent calendar. This was my month to review the claims,
Yeah.
and I found them to be in order. Any director comments or questions, or we move to us as a whole.
I can make a motion to approve
Can I
the.
make one comment? I think it was really exciting to see that how closely we are on our budget. I think it's a real tribute to our staff, Mary and Jeff especially, who worked hard. I know Jean has worked hard on it, but I think it's pretty darn incredible given the shortage of sales compared to years in the past, that we're still in a situation where we're fully staffed. We've got a wonderful group. We've got a great field group, but our budget looks great. I mean, it's pretty fantastic when you think about it. So I just wanted to make that comment out. I was very pleased to see it.
Yeah, relative to the other budgets in our community, state, federal, I think we're doing pretty well.
Oakland, $130 million.
Oh, and that's only the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't think they're the Lone Ranger.
No, it's just San Francisco. No, their cities are really, really, really going to struggle. So no, I'm really happy that we're in the position we are.
It's pretty cool.
Thank you. So
Good job.
Lynn motion.
did we get a motion? Did we get a second? I'll second if it hasn't been seconded. So roll call, please.
Okay, Director Coverdale,
Aye.
Director Feldman,
Yes.
Director Mueller,
Aye.
Vice President Reynolds,
Aye.
President Michelson.
Yes. Okay, meetings attended, director comments.
I just have a brief one. Congratulations on the swearing in board members, and I did receive a very nice letter from David Canopus from the Board of Supervisors. And I think the most important thing here in the letter to me and to all of us, you have my commitment as county supervisor to succeed in achieving our shared objectives. And I thought that was nice.
Yeah, I have to commend, he sent me one also when I left my last election. So this is a real super, I think, there's something, he did handwrite his name.
Yeah.
So he really has taken the time to acknowledge us, unlike his predecessor. So I do applaud him for that. That's nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Bob, please.
Just a quick update on the Fall Aqua Conference. Which had the honor to attend with Jeff there, keeping me honest. Was in Palm Desert, I guess. Haven't been that way for a long, long time. It's dry and dusty and brown and hot. It's interesting, but it's a lot of golf courses I did there. So anyway, it was a good place. The JW Marriott Desert Inn, which is quite substantial. And okay, so things I did, just a quick rundown. I'm going to spend a lot of time on this. In the exhibit hall, I stopped by the iBank exhibit to see what was new, just to get a feel for how well we're going to be doing with what we're doing and whether or not we're getting a deal that's probably the right deal. And I have to say, it looks that way right now. What they were offering was a lot more time to get to, but a little bit higher rates and things. So I'm okay. I mean, just from that transaction, that we're going the right way. We'll hear more about that later. So the DN tank people, but our guy wasn't there, so I couldn't harass them at all. I just had to be nice to the other guys and tell them. And they seem to know about our tank, so at least that much I can say was all right. Then I stopped by the AWWA booth. They have a booth. I didn't know that. And I mentioned that I was an old buddy of Glenn Reynolds. And you should have seen their faces light up. And they said, Glenn, oh yeah, we know Glenn. He's one of our favorite guys. So I just thought I'd tell you that. And I stopped by the Region 5 meeting was later. Everybody was asking about John. And so they sent it. I told them they sent you their cards.
Thank you.
Weren't able to make it. The sessions, I guess after a while, I think it was a well-attended meeting and it was organized. Seemed organized and well put together, and everything was done, I think, professionally. So I have to say that, and kept you busy and kept you moving, and the facility was pretty good too. So that was good. The thing is that they seem to spend time with the same things each year. You go there and it's like you've been there before, and some of the stuff is things take a while to get done, and they have the same issues, consistently over the years for the people there and the discussions that they have. One, of course, was low income rate discussions, and there's nothing's changed in 4 or 5 years, I'm afraid to say. There've been a couple of bills to try to solve the problem, and nothing's been successful up to this point. And the only way it seems that people are around and getting around this is to use non-rate revenue, generated revenue, that they can keep separate from however the rates are structured, which unfortunately most organizations can't do. What we did do is to get to the state and work with people to get rebates and refunds for their payments in the low income group, which is no longer an operating program. So that's about all you can do. We did the best we could. And it's just a hard nut to crack. And I'm not sure what's going to take to crack it, but certainly it's an ongoing issue. Another new one that's coming down the road is 2257, which our legal people are on top of right now. And it's a different way of approaching 218 with the public. It's a more formal approach, which is optional, I understand now. I didn't realize it was optional. You can go the way we are and it stays the way it is, or you can change and go to a more formal approach where if you get protests, you have to respond to them. People can put them in and they're asked to put them in advance so you have time to review them, and you can't be blindsided at a meeting with some contested issue on 218. Now, we've got a few years before we face that, probably 3, because we've got a 3-year budget program that we've established and approved. But at some point, we'll be talking about whether or not we want to do that as an option or not. We get so few protests each year that it's not clear it's to our benefit, but it may be good just to get on the table and consider doing it and see how it's a little more administrative work, but it's a more formal process which protects you from some potential problems going forward, just so you know. So that was the other major thing I learned. They talked a lot about atmospheric river issues and what they're going to do about that and how do you protect against that and how do you make your dams stronger. And it's all pretty much, when things get to overflow, how do you protect your goods? And it's a big issue, and a lot of people are struggling. A lot of people have lots of facilities and infrastructure that can be affected by it. So that was an interesting thing. There was another a session with Sanjay was part of with 5 people who talked about rate setting. And it's interesting because everybody has some interesting issues doing that. And I have to say that looking at the way we do it in our process and the way we approach it and the way we execute, we're in pretty good shape. Some of these people have a lot more issues and difficulty getting their rate structures organized and sold to the public and things that they have to do to make it happen. I think we do quite well comparatively, and you hear some pretty interesting stories of what they have to go through to do it. But I'm all the more positive about the way we have done ours in the past, and the time we take and the effort we put in over the year to make sure we dot our I's and our numbers and our letters as well as we can. So that was a good meeting. And then there was a Region 5 meeting, which talked about all the things going on in Region 5 and how people are approaching their opportunities. And I went to the membership meeting. The membership meeting is you vote. You get a little voting device. Mary does it. I was the appointed rep. And they go over amendments to the Aqua Constitution. And so they did that. They had a measure, and there are about 100 members there, and you vote by pressing buttons. In the recommendation and the amendments passed, so I'll tell you about them. They had to do with longevity and service and how you work with certain functions in the organization. So I enjoy, something new for me. So that went well. And other than that, I thought the meeting was well, and Jeff's probably got some other thoughts, maybe chat with them later.
You did a great job summarizing.
No, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you really.
I'm glad we participate because
Glad
you
you paid
get
attention and didn't spend your time on the golf course.
No. But
Yeah, thank
spend
you.
time on my goal.
He lives on it. Why did it?
Yes.
You right?
You live on it. You don't have
I
to go.
don't have
with them.
to, but I don't spend time there. Is.
Anyone else have any comments? Otherwise, you did kind of, I believe, did touch on 7A and transparency. And so now we can roll into that, Mary, please.
Hey, well, the California Special Districts Association, through its Special District Leadership Foundation, awards special districts who submit an application and meet a list of website requirements and fulfill best practice requirements. The District Transparency Certificate of Excellence, and we have received the designation since in 2017, 2019, and 2021. So Lisa submitted our application for 2024. And, although a lot of the work is ongoing because we're updating things constantly, it's a lot of work. She spent some time over the last 6 months. So anyway, so I appreciate her work. So please join me in welcoming Dane Waddell. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right. Senior Public Affairs Field Coordinator for CSDA, who is with us on Zoom and who will share more information on this designation and present the Shield Award. So.
Great. Thank you. Hi, great. Thank you so much.
No,
Unmute.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Might be on.
Hello?
No, nothing yet.
Not again.
not it.
Hold on.
I might have to learn American Sign Language here. The frequency
Sorry,
here.
I'll come back in.
Did we do this?
Jim's office.
He said he's gonna come back in again.
Okay.
Back in.
Yeah, I know.
I can hear him on my
It works
side,
at your end.
Don't know what's going on.
You have a hand.
Yeah, and we have,
Michelle has a hand up. Maybe she has an answer why.
yeah,
Do we have to?
Let me ask her to unmute.
Yeah, ask Michelle what's going on.
Ask to unmute. Can you unmute, Michelle?
Can we just put a window into Gina's office?
Yeah.
Microphone. Is Michelle?
And that, or you're gonna have to
Is she
fix whatever you.
speaking? Is she speaking?
Can you hear me?
Michelle?
Yeah.
Put her hand up.
We don't know. I asked her to, you were fine this morning or this afternoon.
So I can hear him.
Oh, now
Oh,
Dane's
here.
got his hand up.
Oh,
We should raise our hands.
Can you hear Michelle?
no.
no.
No. Can't hear Dane.
Oh, let's
Oh,
go
Dane's
just
muted.
check the.
It's funny.
Here he is.
The audio.
Did he unmute? Try again. No?
We were fine, we
Hear me?
practiced.
This happened last month, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it down.
You just switch over to the other microphone on your, see if that switches. It would be the speaker, so. I
Speaker.
think. That's the to start.
Check.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
Welcome, Dane, you're in.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you. Sorry about the technological issues there. But again, Dane Wadley, I'm as I said, field coordinator, California Special Districts Association. Filling in tonight actually for your Bay Area, kind of the regular field coordinator for your area, Colleen Haley. You may know Colleen. Colleen's actually out on maternity leave right now. She just had her son about a month or so ago. So filling in for her and pleased to do so.
Maybe we should pause.
Yeah. You have to hold on for a
Can you
second.
hold on just for a second, Dane?
We're still having a hard time with the audio.
It's not on your end, it's on our end.
It's on our end, yeah.
What if you,
Let me try it again.
Well, we could read it too.
can you say something? We try and.
Test.
And transparency certificate. of excellence. Okay.
Full volume now. All right.
Very good. Very good. Well,
Dane?
one of the things I really want to highlight is the fact that it was already said that this is, your fourth time earning this certificate. And I can tell you, as I've been with CSDA for 10 years, about 10 years in this role, and done hundreds of these presentations, and it's quite rare to present to a district who has done it 3-4 times, such as you guys have. So it's definitely something to be commended for you guys as the district, certainly as the board for setting it as a priority, and then obviously the staff for executing all those check marks and getting all those documents together that are needed to maintain the certification. And as I'm sure staff is aware too, we kind of, things keep changing, and there's generally kind of more requirements that kind of pushing the envelope, or more best practices to make this worthwhile and rigorous going forward. And again, certainly you guys have have met that, and we certainly appreciate it. CSDA too. You guys, of course, we longtime members, as I'm sure you know, the district. We appreciate everything that you guys do for us regularly with the support of our advocacy efforts, our training efforts, and then obviously going through these type of programs that we have through SDLF, because one of the things that we're, of course, advocating in state capitol and federal and et cetera, and even in those arenas, there's a lot of, there's all these special districts out there, and do they know what they're doing, and are they following all their best practices, et cetera. And of course, when we have districts like you guys who have gone through our transparency program, it makes our job much easier to be able to point to, Coastside County Water District and others and say, yes, we have a transparency certification. We have districts who are continually maintaining it, and it helps us help you in those arenas. So we certainly, like I said, certainly appreciate it. You've touched on, staff touched on some of the, the subject areas, but I'll just hit them kind of real briefly, because I know this is the 4th time you guys have been doing this. So there's basic transparency requirements. So you have to have all your ethics trainings, all your reports you have to file with the state controller's office, have to be done in a timely manner, et cetera. Obviously website requirements. So having a website, posting your meeting schedules, your audits and budgets, and all your financial information is part of the certification process. And then finally, there's kind of formal outreach requirements where you have to have like a regular district newsletter, public budget hearing, or public transparency review. So just giving you a little summary of, like I said, the rigor of the program, and again, all the things that you guys have met. And obviously, as a public agency, we all know, transparency allows for accountability. It's one of the things I really like to highlight for obviously districts and the communities that they serve, as to why this is important. And I also, of course, I touched on the broader perspective too on why it's so important for us at CSDA when you guys go through this. So all that's to say, just thank you so much again. Thank you again so much for what you do for us. Thank you for renewing this transparency certification. And with that, I believe you guys have the certificate, so I have to hold up kind of the fake one. But yeah, on behalf of SDLF, we just want to congratulate Coastside County Water for winning the certificate again. Great.
Thank you, Dane. Thank you for hanging in there through our technical difficulties, and thank you for acknowledging the good work done here. Good work staff has done, and thanks to past board members. Certainly, Director Larimer was a big advocate of transparency. I think I said that last time, but I'll continue to say it as long as we win these awards. Transparency really counts. We are here to serve the public, and we are accountable to the public. And if they don't know what we're doing, they can't hold us accountable. So it's very important role. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Comment?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
Dana, do you know what percentage of the special districts meet this criteria for transparency?
Sure. Hold on. I got my calculator because I thought it might come up. So let's see. So it's roughly about 20% of CSDA members who have earned this certification. And so it's frankly, if you're talking all special districts across the state, it's about 10%. So you're pretty exclusive.
Good question. Thank you. No, that's good to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Or even more proud. Thank you.
That's not the number I was expecting.
Anyone else have any questions or? So thanks.
Thank you.
We're all involved.
Yeah, I'm hoping next holiday time, busy time for everybody, but if we have a news release coming out soon, pull it into our customer base. This would be
Yeah, we
very
should.
important.
Publicize it in something.
Yeah. Thank you, Dane. Take the rest of the night off. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thanks,
Thank
John.
Okay. Now we're gonna be talking some real money here.
That was for information only. I wasn't needed.
Yeah, okay,
I can turn this to.
yeah.
Start off.
And so I'm gonna assume you've read the entire package
I want to
here?
refer you to page 173. No, seriously, what I'd like to do first is introduce three people who are, one who's here today and two who are on the Zoom call. Brant Smith, thank you for joining us today. Brant is our financial advisor with Baxter McCarley Berry and Company, and has been working closely with Mary and me and others on this call to get us to this point. We really appreciate your help. Second, James Warizniak, who is our bond and disclosure counsel with Jones Hall. James, thank you for joining us tonight. And also Tom Ennis. Tom is managing director with our underwriting firm, D.A. Davidson. So Tom, thank you for joining us as well. Secondly, a brief acknowledgement, but a significant one for our folks at Hanson Bridget. Thank you for your help in editing our documents, Pat, and for referring Allison to help us with all of the attachments, the exhibits that are significant, and we have the benefit of their review that's reflected in these documents. So wanted you to be aware of that. Real briefly on our process tonight, want to quickly go through the staff report and then provide some time for Brant to walk you through a presentation, a hard copy of which was left in front of you tonight. That was not distributed until this evening. But Brant will walk you through that. And its intent is really to flesh out some of the elements of what we are doing, are intending to do to continue with our process to raise our money to support the funding of our tank project at Carter Hill. And then lastly, a point about the exhibits themselves that are attached to the staff report. We have included these attachments because they're core to what we're going to do moving forward. But you'll notice in looking at them that they are not fully populated. And that's pretty much by definition. We need to finish the process to sell these certificates of participation to the market. And until then, the specifics that we'll need in order to populate these documents that have been prepared for us by James and his team and edited by Mary and Tom and gang, they'll be complete upon the completion of our sales process. So couple of notes before we dive in. So what we're recommending this evening is that the board adopt resolution 2024-08, authorizing the delivery and sale of water revenue certificates of participation in the principal amount not to exceed $8 million and approving related documents and official actions. So really what we're talking about moving forward is issuing certificates of participation after several months worth of analysis with Tom, with our team, Mary and Brant, with a lot of help from James and Tom. We are planning to issue certificates of participation in a public offering in January. We have some work to do before that Brant will outline for you in a few minutes, including a presentation of Standard & Poor's to get a credit rating and a variety of other things. But what I'd like to do before I turn it over to you, Brant, is quickly walk you through what we've attached as exhibits to this staff report. First and foremost, there's a resolution, and we'll ask, that will be something that we'll ask to conclude this evening. But beyond that, again, our draft documents that make up the core of what we're going to do as a team over the next month. Installment sales agreement, and I will invite our participants, James, Tom, Brant, to add to and or hopefully not have to correct anything I say about these documents. But this is a fairly involved construct, and I don't want to mislead you at all. The installment sales agreement outlines our payment obligations in relation to the purchase of our certificates of participation. And it outlines the fact that these certificates are on parity with other long-term obligations that we have. There is an entity involved in this process, a CSDA Finance Corporation, and they'll be gone as soon as we sell these things. But James, maybe you can add a brief outline of CSDA Finance Corporation's role, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. And good afternoon, good evening. I hope everyone can hear me okay. James Rosiniak at Jones Hall. Thanks for the introduction. And yeah, as Jeff mentioned, CSDA Finance Corporation, they just are the counterparty on the installment sale agreement. Essentially, the district is buying this new project from CSDA Finance Corp, and they help us get these certificates of participation issued. Because we're going to the public market, it's just a little bit more involved than the private placements that we've helped the district with in the past. But CSDA Finance Corp, they actually are an affiliate of CSDA, right? Which we just heard from Dane. So the district's a member of CSDA. They help special districts just like yourself.
Thank you, James. The second exhibit that in sequence is trust agreement, which will be established between us and U.S. Bank, and the trustee will execute and deliver the COPs to investors. So they're the interface with our investors. Third, the preliminary official statement, POS is how we're referring to it, and this is essentially a document that our friends with Tom and gang, the underwriting firm, will use to share with potential investors to help them understand what they might be investing in. So it's like a prospectus, so to speak. And it's preliminary until such time as we complete the sales process, and then we can move toward a final official statement, which will be established in January after we get through the process of selling these instruments to the market. And this is a document that outlines our agreement with U.S. Bank. Excuse me, the preliminary official statement doesn't do that. I'm back on the trust agreement. I'm sorry. But anyway, on to the fourth exhibit, which is a certificate purchase agreement. And this again outlines the terms of the sale between us and the underwriter, our friend Tom Ennis and his team. So the underwriting process is an interesting one. They are effectively guaranteeing the sale of our instruments. They'll buy them and sell them, and it's my friend Brant's job to keep Tom Ennis and his team honest. Yep. So with that, I'd like to pass this along to you, Brant, so you can walk us through your presentation. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Want to say thank you again for the opportunity to serve the board and serve the district as municipal advisor. Glad we have the financing team here together. I thought maybe just provide the board with a market update, what interest rates are, what the market's like. Talk a little bit more about the security structure and the COPs, and then open it up to questions on structuring and the game plan and talk about next steps. That's good with everyone. Okay. So interest rates, where are we? Obviously, the Fed started lowering interest rates in September on the 18th. They lowered 75 basis points so far year to date. Market participants are anticipating another 25 basis point rate cut next week. So it's about 100 basis points lower. Fed funds 5.25 down to about 4.25 this month. If you follow the fixed income markets, interest rates, the US Treasury curve has been inverted. So that means the front end of the yield curve has higher, you probably noticed in your savings accounts and money market funds, those rates have been 4 to 5%, where the long end's been a little bit lower. The US yield curve is starting to re-steepen. So as the Federal Reserve has been lowering interest rates, the long end or that mid part of the curve, the 10-year part, the 20-year part, the 30-year maturities haven't come down. They've actually gone up a little bit. So I put it on the second page in the slide. You can see how it's changed since September 18th. Again, we're down 75 basis points in the front end with Fed funds. We anticipate another 25 next week. How has that affected the municipal bond market? How has that affected the treasury market? Again, the Federal Reserve controls the front end of the yield curve, but they don't control out in the later maturities. So in the municipal market, the municipal tax exempt bond market is actually outperformed its sister market, the US Treasury market. The 10-year municipal market is up about 10 basis points higher. So 0.1% higher in rates since the Fed started cutting. We're looking at a 20-year structure for the district. Rates are about 7 basis points higher. So not too much. 30-year, 7 basis points again. For the US Treasury market, a little bit different. 10 years up 47 basis points, 20 years up 47 basis points, and the 30 years up about 47 basis points. So it's pretty static. I think we first started exploring and looking at the financing in summer, during the end of summer. We were anticipating maybe doing the financing in front of the US presidential election, expecting maybe some market volatility. We were looking at targeting maybe late October, but it was just the pace of getting things in order to do a securitization. We decided to slow it down a little bit. I don't think waiting has hurt really with rates too much. The president asked me, where do we think rates might be coming into the next quarter? Anyone's guess. I think there's a lot of things with what's going to happen around January 20th. But I think if you wanted to kind of say like an interest rate sensitivity test between now and January, I think the general consensus for that 20-year part of the curve, what we're looking at, I think market participants are probably thinking give or take 25 basis points. And we can quantify that to how that might affect your debt as well. Also, just wanted to point out, thank you again for the opportunity to serve the district. Back in 2018, we did the refunding for the district. You borrowed, this was a private placement with the bank. You borrowed a little over $5 million for 14 years at 2.85%. Then in 2021, we did the new money for $7 million. That was a phenomenal loan. 20 years, I was in a private placement with the bank, 20 years, about 2.23%. And you can see that was toward the tail end of the pandemic and that inflationary pocket that came into the economy. So you can see rates kind of just drifted right up after your sales. So you guys really hit it out of the park. But again, historically, where you are right now, we're looking at somewhere with an all-in cost of about a little over 4% right now for a 20-year transaction. It's very historically, it's a very favorable rate. You compare that to mortgage rates and some where your taxable rates are, it's still pretty aggressive. I also just real quick, late in the afternoon in the bottom right-hand corner, I saw a chart that the San Francisco Federal Reserve Bank put out in a recent report. Just, inflation, that's what a lot of people are looking at. It seems to be mellowing out a little bit, but you can see that dotted line is that targeted 2% inflation rate for the Fed. Food and energy obviously came up during the pandemic. They're kind of flattening out. Housing, unfortunately, continues to rise a little bit. And core inflation is still rising. But so when we're saying where are rates going to be next year, how could it affect our January sale? I think people are still not anticipating anything out of the ordinary, but I think that's good background for where we are with what people are anticipating in general for interest rates. And then next page would be where we are. Previously, we worked on financing with the district. We did private placements with regional and national banks. We did the first loan we did with Chase. The second placement we did with First Foundation, which is Regional California Bank. We've done the analysis. We've worked with both Mary and Jeff, the financing team, Tom Minnis on the underwriting side, going back and forth and consistently doing analysis. What's the best option for the lowest cost of capital for the district to borrow $8 million? It's been consistently the COP, certificate of participation. Think of that as kind of taking a step back. When Jeff was talking to James just recently, what we're doing differently for the district right now is instead of just going to a bank and doing a 20-year loan with a bank, where if you can think of it, the interest rate would just be the same rate every year for 20 years. And the bank holds every maturity or every debt payment for the next 20 years. We're taking the debt for the district, we're raising $8 million and we're securitizing it. So we're creating a loan that's not just going to go to one party. That loan is actually going to get split up between 15 to probably 15 or so different maturity structures, which creates, let's say, 15 different securities. So when the underwriting firm, Tom Minnis at D.A. Davidson, when they go out to issue that debt to public investors, that could be high wealth management, private wealth management, high wealth investors, especially in the Bay Area. It could be insurance companies, it could be mutual funds. Instead of just going to that one bank to invest your money, now you're opening up the district there's going to be investors in California and nationally who will want to buy your debt or buy your loan. And so it's a little more technical. There's a little few more steps involved. So part of that is some of the documentation we're hopefully going to be approving tonight is how do you actually set that up so you can actually securitize your debt? So instead of, again, just going to the bank and saying, can I get an $8 million loan? It's one loan, it's one bank. You're taking $8 million, securitizing it, creating certificates, and then the underwriting firm will go sell that nationally and within California to the highest bidder. And that's how we get lower interest rates versus the bank loan, is you have a much deeper bench of investors for your debt.
I would add this schedule, which highlights the all-in cost, interest costs. Couple of things. One, it's assuming a AA rating, which you and Tom seem to think is more than likely for us as we go to market, right?
Yeah. So we both have a lot of experience working with S&P and rating agencies to get ratings for municipal debt issuers, like water districts for yourself. Tom particularly has worked with North Coast County on their recent issue to get their rating. So we know what the rating agency is looking for. The rating agency is looking for what's the socioeconomic footprint of the district? How essential is that water district? What are the sources of revenue for the water district? Is it 100% residential? Do you have commercial? You have property taxes that back some of your revenue. What's the average house of a price? How much does that house cost versus what's the water bill? Like in Half Moon Bay, the median price is about just with general terms, some are higher, some are lower, but the median house price is 1.5 million, but the average water bill is about $105. So when the rating agency looks at it, goes, if I own a $1.5 million house, am I not going to pay my water bill? Whereas other parts of the country, other parts of California might be a little different. So there's a lot of different factors that go into that rating presentation. But to answer Jeff's question, this Thursday, we'll be meeting with S&P to get the S&P rating. So we're doing a presentation with two analysts from S&P. And I can't say enough that it was nice to see the recognition staff got. Being prepared and preparing for this S&P presentation, Mary and Jeff have just hit it out of the park. I mean, the competence and the information we're going to be able to give S&P compared to other districts of your size, your staffing team and the approach and the competence is similar to much larger agencies. So it's really going to help us with that rating presentation. We anticipate a AA+.
And then Tom's team has done a sensitivity analysis with respect to our rating. So if we get an AA rating, those are the numbers that we would currently expect. But if we get an A rating, the impact is not huge, even though we don't expect to be at an A rating. The impact would be with the workup that Tom's done, about $5,000 a year in debt service. So it's modest. And the impact on the interest rate that we would pay is 9 basis points. So effectively like 0.1%.
Will they decide on the spot?
No.
What's the lag time?
We're anticipating to get the rating back on the 20th of December. That's when the S&P team said they'll come back to it.
Okay, so us directors will be expecting an email on the 20th advising us.
Yeah, and what Jeff mentioned was, if we do want to go for municipal bond insurance, it's a minimal cost. It's about 9 basis points. How do you put that into, how do you quantitate it? It would be about $5,000 a year in debt service. So it's not too much. And we would do a cost sensitivity analysis. So if there are, here's an example why you may want to look at bond insurance, may not want to look at bond insurance. Again, I mentioned we have different securities throughout the yield curve for your debt. There might be, if there's a possibility of a mutual fund that says we would like to have a little more, a little more liquidity or a little bit more of enhancement for the credit, and we do get bond insurance, they might actually say, okay, we'll buy, and this is a hypothetical, but they might say, we'll buy 3.5 million of the 8 million, and instead of paying 2.7, we'll pay 2.4. And we just do the math. And we just say, okay, if that works out in your benefit, the cost benefit, that's why we'll. But I can't say this strongly enough. I know Mary and Jeff have probably heard me say this a few times. The district is a great credit. It's a very great credit. Where you are in San Mateo County in California compared to national credits, and the staff and the skill set, what we're doing is and being an essential service. And again, I just kind of mentioned like Everybody needs water, and it's a very wealthy area, and the water bills are pretty low. So you guys, great management staff and great financials. And I think also will be shown with S&P, the rate study, the Prop 218 process. The district doesn't want to have problems passing if we need to do a rate increase. So that's another big piece as well too.
Thank you. No, anyone have any specific questions, Ken?
Well, the thing that impressed me the most was if anybody ever really wanted to know about Coastside County Water District, and they would take the time to read Exhibit D.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, the social, economic, and just sort of geographic, and I mean, it's a phenomenal picture of our district. I was blown away. I mean, I started reading all these documents because I couldn't go to sleep. I quickly went to sleep on some of them, but I was just so impressed with the completeness of the data and the information. I'm trained as a social scientist. I mean, if you're going to do social or economic analysis of a region, I don't think it could be done any better. I was also really pleased to see the different terms in each of the agreements for prepayment. I was very concerned about that. What would we do if we could prepay? What if we suddenly got in a great position and we had enough money to start to buy it down? And I was very pleased to see there weren't really penalties or early payment. You know, a lot of times you borrow money, and if the company that loaned it to you isn't going to make the interest as they planned for the full 5 years, you pay off in 2.
Yeah.
You've got to pay the interest for the full 5 years, even though you're prepaying. So I was very pleased to read those specific elements. I thought the completeness again of the documents and just sort of who is responsible and how it worked in these various approaches to the loans. I was quite impressed by that.
I appreciate that. I wish I could take more credit for that. It's an entire financing team. So James Orzeniak and Dave Fama at Jones Hall, that's your bond counsel. They do a lot of disclosure, the POS, the installment sale. They've been working closely with Mary and Jeff for 3 months now to accumulate the information, put those documents together. So kudos to James and Dave at Jones Hall, and Tom Innes at DA Davison as well has been working with the team. So thank you for noticing that. There's been a lot of work. There's been a lot of resources involved.
About 300 pages.
There's a little bit of a template form to it, but there's a lot of work behind the scenes to get it to. So thank you for that.
I was once I woke up, I was very impressed.
And that POS, the POS has a lot of that information. If you think of it like that's a prospectus. So going back to how we're securitizing your debt, we're going to make it a public offering. Before, you just made it a private offering to a bank or regional or national bank. Now you're going to offer those securities across the country, and that POS is what the investors. So whether I'm, sitting on my chair in New Year's reading the credit of why do I want to buy your municipal debt, whether it's an analyst for a mutual fund company or insurance company or that's what they're going to be looking at to learn about Coastside County Water District. So you'll have investors going, that's the document they learn to understand about the credit.
Oh, thank you for pointing that out. Bob?
It's not a walk in the park. That's what I got as I reviewed it recently. And the thing that comes to mind here, though, frankly, as I hear the dialogue, is that we do pretty well. We have a pretty good operation going here to be able to do this. This isn't something you could do if you don't have the wherewithal to prove that you're able to justify it. And if anything, it tells me that this district is in really good shape. And we've done a really good job of being able to develop an environment and a holistic place that can present this to the public and actually have people invest in our business, which is essentially what this is turning out to be, the more I understand it. So I'm very impressed and very pleased that I'm associated with an operation that can do this and do it with the latitudes that we're getting from Brad about how we stand up and get counted and show our stuff and get the approvals we need to make this happen. That's really exciting for me.
No, I'm just proud that, with CSEA, bond analysts, auditors, everyone who's looked at this district, we end up with accolades. Yeah, across the board. I mean, no deficiencies.
Just a quick comment.
Yeah, please.
I think this is a real credit to the district and everything and all the experts that look at these big numbers, because we have to show our customer base we are looking for the future for grandkids and great grandkids and children, that we are going to continue to have a great healthy supply of water for many, many years ahead. And my last little comment would be, we're not used to big numbers of little guys, but it doesn't cost in the end. We have to convey out there, it pays, because there's no way we're going to pony up to get the infrastructure in place that we need. So thank you.
Yeah, if I may echo the comments real quickly, the strength of your credit isn't just a short-term strength, it's the history of the district. And the strength of working with Mary and Jeff recently, just to put it in how to quantify it, you're going to get a higher rating. And one, you have a strong credit. So when you do this issuance, hopefully you can go pay as you go in the future. But if you ever need to access capital again, you'll have this. So it'll be a much easier process on staff. So this is an inaugural credit, but you'll have access again for whether it's a commercial bank loan or you want to go to the public markets, you'll always have it available to the district since it's a strong credit. And again, just all the hard work that Mary and Jeff have done in the last 3 months, that will help lower your borrowing costs. So it's saving dollars. It's definitely saving dollars.
Better than buying a lotto ticket.
Yeah. Thank you. Based on that, we're ready for a motion.
I can make a motion.
Please.
That we approve the resolution 2024-08, a resolution of the Coastside County Water District authorizing the delivery and sale of water revenue certificates of participation in the principal amount not to exceed 8.0 million and approving related documents and initial action.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, I think that this one probably requires a roll call, huh?
Director Coverdale,
Yes.
Director Feldman,
Yes.
Director Mueller,
Yes.
Vice President Reynolds,
Yes.
President Michelson.
Yes, and thank you for your presentation, Brad. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to serve.
Thanks.
We'll see you at the bank counter.
Yeah.
Happy holidays.
You too.
Thank you.
Again, thanks for your time.
As long as we do
Thank
that.
you very much.
Thank you. And on behalf of David Davidson, we're very excited to market these bonds. It's you guys are a strong credit. I'm not gonna beat a dead horse, but it's you should be proud.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Thank you both, James.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
By the pound.
Okey doke. How's Carter Hill doing?
This one.
So, can we share?
Yep, I'm getting there.
Okay, so this is our report number 2 that we're presenting. And we and with that, I will say, we can go on to the next one. This month has largely, we've been reviewing, our efforts have been spent looking at contractor submittals and RFIs. And we actually completed additional potholding as well. And we were doing the potholding to determine where our utilities are at site and understand what we need to do with PG&E. We were going into this thinking that we were going to have to relocate the PG&E utilities, which can be a very long process. So I'll say Darren has really, he's really pushed this effort. And we have determined with the potholing that we don't have to relocate the utilities.
Good.
So what we have had to do is look at, we've had to do a little bit more work with HDR. They recently did, we just got today actually a design clarification where we're going to shift the tank location about 4 feet. Is that, and so that, allows us to be able to not have to relocate the PG&E.
Better to do that while the tank's empty.
So we are in the process of reviewing the design, and also the tank will need to review the design, but we are optimistic that we are going to be able to issue our notice to proceed very shortly. And we could see activity up at Carter Hill in the very near future, of course, under the tank schedule. So it's all good news. If you want to we have some, the pictures aren't very interesting, but it's just our potholing.
Nice, Reg.
Part of it on this is that we were we weren't sure if there were other utilities, not just PG&E. And so we ended up doing a cross section, to just to
So you put
verify.
the trencher in, you move it across, and when the lights go out, then you know, oh, there was a house there.
No, it's 12 kV. They did vacuum excavation. Well, good. No, we look forward to breaking really.
What do you think the cost savings will be of not having to move to PG&E?
I don't have an official number on it
I'm
yet.
going to guess. Is it $100,000, $200,000?
No, we don't want to say quite yet.
Yeah.
But the big issue is the time delay, because we
Yeah.
were looking at, to
Sure.
get PG&E
No.
out there, and we're talking months.
Well, it's their engineering.
Yeah, I know.
Darren did a great job with working with PG&E engineering, and they were ready to go. Which was, as I say, largely due to Darren on the phone with PG&E almost every other day for 2 or 3 months. And so, this is good news.
Yeah.
So, because the big thing was that we had to get through, to understand what we need to do with PG&E. We had to get the idea was that we needed to get the conduit in before PG&E would come out, and they would not schedule until we got the conduit in. So, which would be months.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's good news.
It is.
I could give you a little history. In the good old days, the general foreman for our district from PG&E was from Half Moon Bay. And I can never forget when people needed some poles to put a pump in on their farm or whatever. Jack Bernardo, God bless him, he'd say, "Who needs a work order? Just go put the poles in and get it done."
Yeah.
Those were when PG&E got things done.
Well, that's good news. So, no, but now that we've got the money here, we need a project. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. And now a real important business. Copier.
Yeah.
They can't function without a copier.
It didn't need that many pages either.
One that we need a new copier, and so we would like to enter a new 5-year lease. It has a value of around $45,000.
Do we operate with just one copier here, or do we have backups, or?
You have, yeah.
We have some personal printers scattered.
Okay, all right. This is the workhorse.
This is the workhorse.
I guess it expired after we printed out this. This loan stuff. It's an unheaded, guys.
You guys
It's late
get
to
$8
me.
million, so I can get a new.
I'm done.
Okay, well, yeah, so this is outside your spending.
I move we approve a 5-year lease and maintenance agreement with UVEO Business Services for a color copier for use in the district office.
I'll second it.
Yeah, well, I tell you, the maintenance agreement is the most important part.
Yep. Mimeograph machines.
Yeah, what happens?
Did I hear a second? Or?
Yeah, you got a
Okay,
second.
all right. Let's do it then.
Director Coverdale,
Aye.
Director Bellman,
Yes.
Director Mueller,
Hi.
Vice President Reynolds,
Yes.
President Nicholson.
Yes. Okay.
Keep on going.
Oh,
I'll make a motion, we consider election of officers.
7E, this is sad. This is the end of my presidential reign.
No, we can keep you in. There's
Oh,
no term limit.
I'm opposed to term limits, so I would consider being president for life.
Oh my God.
But that said, I think nominations are open.
I think it's always been history that the vice president steps into the presidential position. And I think in this particular situation, we've got an experienced and intelligent, educated person. So I'd like to nominate Glenn Reynolds to move into the position of president.
Yeah, I would happily second that. It's nice to be followed by someone clearly as competent as Glenn. Probably, technically, I tell you, he's far more competent than I will ever be. So
This is a team effort. You
So-
guys all bring a lot to the table.
Congrats, yeah.
So I think, who do we put in?
Vice president.
Yeah, the
Well,
line of succession.
I was trying to remember who served last in order. Was it Bob or was it John?
I was chair before Chris came in.
So I think it's
So I
either
think
one of you guys.
So I'd like to nominate Bob to be vice president.
And I would hardly second that also.
Okay. Works.
Very good.
So you know what? I'm gonna hurry up and close nominations so nobody calls us up.
And you can take that home with you.
Add to my collection. I probably got 4 or 5 of them at home. And this has been a tough year. That we've had some challenges.
Mhm.
I'm really, really proud of the outcome of our various challenges.
Yeah.
So this has been probably, like I said, the more challenging presidency, but again, collaboratively, we got through it. And I couldn't be more proud of my fellow board members and the supporting staff. And I loved it. So I'll be back in the rotation.
Thanks, staff, for preparing a December holiday gathering of our staff and board members. Would you like to announce that tonight?
Yeah, that would, I believe it's the 17th. It's the 17th, and I really do hope I will arrange my schedule so that I can be here. I know Gina did ask me. I was pretty certain I could make it, but I will make it, and I hope my fellow board members can make it. And no, it's really important because I think we all need to be in one room, and because like has been noted earlier, this is a collaborative effort, and every one of us here in one way or another have contributed to really, as we've gone over time, making this district as great as it is. So I do hope I really can make it.
And we don't need to confirm it, or we do need to.
Oh, yeah, so you've got your nominations, you
Yeah.
close your nominations, now we need actual
Yeah.
motion to approve and a second and a vote.
So motion to approve the
You can
nomination.
do it, you can
Can we
do
do
it, you can do them both together, or you can do them separately, the president.
So I'm looking for a motion to approve the nominations as presented.
I'll do that.
And
I'll second it.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can second.
Moved and seconded. Vote please.
Ready? Director Coverdale,
I want to make my vote very clear. Aye.
Director Bell,
Me too, yes.
Director Mueller,
I'm an I guy in history.
Vice President Reynolds,
What are my options? What else is there other than I or?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it, okay.
President.
We're gonna get him a Robert's Rule of Order book, and show him how to do it.
I think we've got a motion and a second and a vote for our new President Reynolds and our Vice President Feldman.
That's
I've given up the chair yet, though. You can have it.
Well, I'd like to make a comment. I'd like to thank you for your presidency.
Yeah.
And I'd like to say, I think you did a great job this year.
Thank you.
And I'd like to say that I agree also. I think the district is in my opinion, tremendous financial position. I think it's just been a great job, the way the rates have worked out, considering the challenges that we've had with water sales. I think that Mary has done an amazing job this year. And I know that you've had a lot of interaction and helped to direct her and to make sure that the things that seem really consequential and important, I know you were very active in that. And so I think you're to be commended for that portion of the work. And so I would tell you that I think you can walk away from this year feeling a lot of pride in the leadership that you've provided. So I'd like to thank you for your leadership.
Oh, thanks. I do take it seriously, and I think we all do. And like I said, it's for the greater good of our community. Yeah, thank you.
I would comment that this has been running really well, and you should take credit for that.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
I think the whole team, and I'm really proud of how well the staff does, the team does, our system runs well, and it's done as a collaborative effort. It's done both with the board, all the way throughout.
Yeah, and depending on the metric, we're in the top 10 or 20%. So that was really awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. And then moving to general manager's report.
I included a statement by Nicole Sankula, who is the now former CEO of Bosco. She is retired, but she has made a statement in front of the SFLPC this past month where she urged continued collaboration to find solutions to water reliability challenges.
Okay.
So
Interesting enough, Jeff and I ran into her at the Aqua Conference. She was there with her. The new.
Probably showing him around.
Tom,
Yeah.
I forgot his last name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was showing him around. She introduced us.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and we told him that she done good work for us over the years, and we look forward to his continuing that.
Yeah, I hope Tom does
that,
reach out to the individual board members.
Right.
I have yet to hear from him because
He said he was going to do that. I think he said he was planning to try to.
He's
in
Yeah,
his role.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Because I know tier 2
Yeah.
sadly has been kicked
Right.
down the road. I was kind of hoping that Nicole could wrap it up before she left, but now I'm hearing there are problems with that.
Okay.
The Bay Delta plan is in the public hearing process right now, so that's moving slowly. So no, the new CEO has his work cut out for him.
Yeah, he knew you were our
Yeah,
guide, so.
things move
Keeping your eye on.
glacially slow.
Yeah.
But hopefully they'll move in the right direction. No, thank you. Okay, that, and then I guess we're going to hear from Darren?
well,
Or do you have more to add, or?
I will go through with him and Darren can help explain.
Okay. Give thumbs up or thumbs down, what you're saying?
Yeah, I think one of the big things that we're looking, we're going to be having a bid opening for Highway 92 work on December 17th. So we're excited about that. We had a pre-bid walk of Highway 92 in November, and that was a mandatory meeting. And we had, was it like 16 parties?
Yeah, the highest number of bidders I've seen.
Who showed up
16?
for the bid?
I can get you the sign-in sheet, but all the major players that you would think of.
And major local players?
Yeah, the
Everyone,
major.
yes.
Well, what's the
Oh, good.
anticipated dollar amount, or is there engineering estimates?
It's,
2.6.
2.7 mil.
Yeah, right.
That's the estimate.
Okay.
yeah,
In the budget.
Hopefully somebody comes in down.
yeah, I think it
down
was
and-
right at 3.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping we make it
That's what I'm
quick,
afraid
and
of.
we do it alacrity so we can deal with, that we can get some of our reserves in use.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fish and Wildlife.
Thank you.
But yeah, Well, this has been a major, this has been a lot of work.
No,
And,
no
so
doubt.
we're really excited that
Highly
we're gonna be
sensitive.
able to start this in the split. So, the other work that we did this month, which we're excited about and actually is in process, we completed, and installed the hatches, the new hatches on the contact clarifiers at Denniston. And we have the plant tented right now and the painters, they're ready, to coat. And so
Because it is raining tomorrow.
it looks, as I think, as Sean said, it looks like a circus tent. We were out there yesterday too. So it's, and it is, we had a window for getting tinted and sandblasted.
Were they gonna tent anyway, or is this precautionary tent in this?
we-
They would tend to anyhow, they would have to control the environment.
Right.
Oh, okay,
It's required, so. You had some other work. I had you mentioned you had tree work after in the canyon, after this atmospheric river. So, and we spoke about DN tank. Is there anything else you'd like to bring up, Aaron?
The new truck show up?
Not yet.
No, it got pushed back. It's gonna be early February.
Okay, thank you. They say equipment is hard to get. Rumors out there.
Okay, that's good. Anything else? Anybody have any questions on
anything?
What did you want to know what number
So
meeting?
I was curious, Mary, it's not a high priority thing, but I was really curious, what number meeting is this? So
Forever.
the district's been around for decades. Is this like our 1000th meeting? Is this our 713th meeting?
And I'm sure you know that, just.
Pay someone to track that? Really impressed. 194. Gina, I'm sure no.
75 years,
About
right?
900?
75 times 12.
Gina, how many meetings?
Gonna know.
I don't know.
For
my time, no.
Well,
May I suggest one more little thing?
yes,
Politically, that we send a little congratulations note to the new elected
900,
city council
not
member.
including all the others.
And the new mayor will be coming in too.
900.
Yes, yeah. One per month.
One per month.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a period where they were doing a couple. There was,
Between 900.
we can't talk about that. That's.
Okay, we can, we don't want to.
I'll ask the 101-year-old when I get.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're,
Good question.
I think we're running out of things here. Otherwise, we'll be violating the Brown Act and our attorney will have to reel us in. So we better adjourn.
He's thinking of writing notes.
I'm waiting for director agenda items or requests for future meetings.
Yeah, do we have any? Well, I think
Why don't we
the,
have a meeting next month?
I got a director's, have we decided when we're gonna do our, future planning session?
January.
When are we gonna, have we picked a month or a time? So I'd like to agendize a planning session. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I will, we talked about, with the HR committee about having a workshop on HR related issues and potentially in January. I would like to also add a little bit of a planning. There was some information I'd like, we'd like to discuss on other topics as well. So, but I think we might need to do two, or we can talk about it.
yeah, my preference would be to.
I'm not sure they're
break it up.
connected. I'm not sure they're connected.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they are, but I think we want to really talk about setting a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan. Because I think it's been, I don't remember, but I bet it's been 6
Yeah,
years or
physical
7 years.
footprint.
Yes.
So this building might be
Okay.
something.
I think
we should be planning
it's
for.
time to revisit that. I know historically that was revisited. I was visited. Now I believe it's time to
Yeah.
revisit it.
I think it'd be good,
Yeah, okay. Well,
As long as the-
president,
as long as our attorney thinks it's all right.
you can direct us. Okay, good. Thank you. And so far that's kept us within bounds. We better close up before we get out of bounds. Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho.
Hey, you know-
Recording stopped.
Yeah.